Hi there, my name's Aaron Lanterman. I'm a professor of electrical and computer engineering at Georgia Tech, and in this lecture of guitar amplification and effects, I would like to talk about multiple pickup wirings. So something like a Stratocaster will typically have 3 pickups. It will have a neck pickup, and it will have a middle pickup, and it will have a bridge pickup. So the bridge pickup tends to sound brighter, the neck pickup tends to sound more mid-rangey, and the middle pickup is somewhere in the middle. So typically people will draw pickups using a symbol like this. That's the symbol that's most commonly used for an iron core inductor. But I want to indicate that it's a pickup, so I'm going to invent a different symbol for it, where I'm going to put a little rectangle here to indicate that we might have some sort of bar magnet, or this might also be 6 bowl pieces or something, but that's a little bit more complicated. Anyway, this is going to be my symbol for a pickup. So we want to be able to select between these pickups or perhaps mix them together. And the way that occurs on a Stratocaster is there's a 5-position switch. The way this switch works is that the switch can connect to one of 5 different sort of configurations, but besides the pole, there's only 3 places where you can actually connect to the switch. So what happens is that the switch can either be all the way up, in the middle, or all the way down, and in those positions it connects to either the neck, the middle, or the bridge. Now, when it's in positions, we could say position 2 and position 4, what it does is it actually connects across here. So when it's in this position, the neck and middle pickup are connected together and connected to the pole, whereas when the switch is in this position, the middle and bridge are connected together and then connected to the pole. So if you wanted, you could modify your Strat and put in some other switches or whatever to connect the neck and bridge pickup, and that might give you some interesting sounds, but you're adding a lot to the complexity of your controls and the complexity of your wiring. So standard Strats don't do that. Anyway, we want to connect this to some sort of volume control, and so my volume control is down here, and let's call this RV as before. And this is what we output to our amplifier. Now, a Strat also has tone controls, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's just talk about this particular configuration for now. Oh, and apparently I don't know how to spell middle. Let's fix that. All right, that was embarrassing. Anyway, this middle position pickup is usually a reverse wound, reverse polarity pickup. So when you're in this in-between position and using both pickups, either the neck in the middle or the neck in the bridge, it can act as a humbucker and reduce noise. People will often call the effect of combining these pickups an out-of-phase sound. But I really need to clarify here that the signals are electrically in phase because we reverse the polarity of the magnets in addition to reversing the winding. People will call it out of phase because, unlike in a regular humbucker, the pickups on the Strat are so far apart that these pickups are measuring the string at very different points. So the relationships between the various frequencies can be extremely complicated. And as a result, some of the frequencies are going to wind up being out of phase, but that comes from seeing the string at different points. It's not because one of the pickups is wired out of phase. Now, you can throw in additional switches that will change the phase on the pickups, and that itself will give you all sorts of weird, interesting sounds. But again, you're adding to the complexity of your controls. The effect of combining these pickups like this gives you an interesting sound, especially the neck and the middle pickup. It gives you this nasally, funky, quacky sound. It's definitely an interesting sound. Now, in addition to combining the signals from these pickups, giving you these weird phase relationships just by the fact that they're listening to different parts of the string, there's something electrically interesting going on. Remember that one of these pickups we've been modeling as a voltage source in series with the coil inductance and the coil resistance, and then you see that across the coil capacitance. Well, if that's the neck pickup, and you also combine it with the middle pickup, there's another model for that middle pickup. And now if we think about using superposition, well, this neck pickup, in addition to seeing this volume control as a load, It's now seeing this complicated impedance associated with the middle pickup. It's seeing that as part of the load. And similarly, the middle pickup is now seeing this complicated impedance associated with the neck pickup as part of the load. Just merely having the other pickup in play changes the sound. If you were to go in and you were to take out the magnet, if you were to take out all of the pole pieces, so this guy is no longer generating a signal, just switching in the middle pickup is going to change the way the neck pickup sounds. As I'm fond of saying, everything on the guitar affects everything else. If you really wanted to combine the raw sound of the neck pickup and the raw sound of the middle pickup, you would have to introduce some active electronics to decouple these so that one doesn't affect the other, and you could really add them together. Okay, now what about the tone control? So this 5-position selector switch is actually a 2-pole switch. So when the musician moves the switch up and down, this mechanism over here moves in tandem with it. So I'll draw it something like this. Let me put another little white arc here to indicate what's happening in these in-between configurations. Now, a standard Strat actually has 2 separate tone pots. There's one for the middle pickup, and let me call that RTM. And there's one for the neck pickup. I'll call this RTN for the tone control for the neck. And they actually share a tone capacitor, so we'll call that CT. And let's see, if I'm drawing this the way I did last time, I would draw it as a variable resistor like this, and let me put in an arrow here to indicate the direction of turn. For the volume pot, the direction of turn is going the other direction. So something really interesting here. Notice that if I have the middle pick selected, okay, well, here's my middle tone control. The other one doesn't matter. On the other hand, if I just have the neck pickup selected, well, this neck tone control is the only tone control that matters. But if I'm in this middle position, I wind up with this resistance from the middle tone control and this resistance from the neck tone control in parallel. So in that middle position, these tone controls have lost their individual identities. Assuming that these are both the same value pot, I could put one at 20% rotation and the other at 80%, and put the first one at 80% and the second one at 20%, and get the same sound in that middle position. Of course, when I switch back to just the neck or just the middle position, I would then get a very different sound. Notice that the way a standard Strat is set up, there's no separate tone control on the bridge. If you have it just on the bridge setting, well, then you just have the volume control. If you have it in the combined middle and bridge pickup setting, well, then the middle pickup is your only tone control. Now, if you wanted, you could modify your Strat. You could go in and say, oh, well, what I would really like to do is put in another tone control here. And what we'll do is we'll call that RTB for our tone control for the bridge. And we could wire that in. And then in the setting combining the middle and the bridge, these two tone controls would be in parallel. But again, you're adding complexity to your controls. You're up to 4 knobs instead of 3 knobs. All right, so now let's talk about how a Les Paul guitar is typically wired. So a Les Paul guitar will just have a neck pickup and a bridge pickup. And in terms of the switch on a Les Paul, the neck pickup is typically called the rhythm setting, and the bridge pickup is usually called the treble setting. But of course, you can play rhythm guitar with the bridge pickup, it's just names. And let me put in my little bar magnets down here. And in the case of a Les Paul, this makes sense because these are humbuckers, remember. So you have basically 2 single coil pickups that are wired in series, and there's a bar magnet sitting under them. All right, so now these go into a couple of tone controls. And let's call this RTB for the bridge pickup and RTN for the rhythm pickup. And let me actually draw these upside down the way I've been drawing them, because now we can actually have the direction of turn arrow going this way. So as we turn the control clockwise, there's more resistance in this variable resistor, and the high frequencies aren't getting shunted to ground as much. I should have been drawing my tone controls that way the whole time, probably. I think that's a little clearer now that I think about it. All right, so these go to a couple of volume controls. So let's call this RVN for the neck pickup, and then I'll have RVB for the bridge pickup. And these are wired as standard potentiometers. Now what you'll typically have here is a 2-pole 3-way switch. So I have 3 settings that I can pick. And the way this is set up, if you're on the neck position, that's the only pickup in play. If you're in the bridge position, that's the only pickup in play. But if you're in the middle position, it's wired up like this. So if you are set to the middle position here, then the output of both of these networks is being combined in parallel, and that's what's sent to your output jack on your guitar. As with the Strat, notice that things interact in interesting ways. When you're in this middle position, the neck pickup will see the impedance of this entire bridge network in parallel with the load of the amplifier or your effects pedal. And similarly, if you're in the bridge setting, it's going to see all of the impedance of this neck pickup network here, the tone control, the tone capacitor, the volume control here, all of the coil resistance and capacitance and inductance associated with the neck pickup. It's going to see that in parallel with the load impedance of your amplifier or whatever. And again, if you really wanted to combine these two outputs without having them affect each other, you would need to introduce some active electronics. And there's something very weird about this Les Paul configuration. Well, it depends on your point of view. The first time I actually played a guitar like this, I became very confused because notice when you're in that in-between setting, you could have, for instance, the bridge pickup turned all the way up, but if you have the neck pickup turned all the way down, well, this output here is shorted to ground. So that feels counterintuitive. That doesn't operate the way, say, a mixing console would. If you aren't familiar with this effect, you would imagine that, well, I should be able to put it in this middle position, turn one knob all the way up and turn the other knob all the way down, and have it be equivalent to having the switch thrown all the way one direction or the other. But it doesn't work that way. If you're in that middle position, you do have to have some of each pickup mixed in here, because if you have one of them turned all the way down, you don't get any output. Some people think about that as a bug and change the wiring on their Les Paul to a different configuration, closer to something like the Gretsch configuration I'm about to show you. Some people just consider this part of the territory and they roll with it. So this is a standard Les Paul configuration. There are other variations. A particularly complicated one associated with Jimmy Page, I think, is a setup where, in addition to having these in parallel, you can run the neck and bridge pickups in series as an alternative. Of course, that complicates things in interesting ways. And part of that Jimmy Page wiring, I think, is you can also take one of the pickups and throw it out of phase relative to the other. So that won't really matter if you only have one pickup selected, but it gives you a different set of possible tones when you're in that middle configuration, whether you have them running in series or parallel. And I should mention that another option for humbuckers themselves is to run the 2 coils of the humbucker in series instead of parallel as is standard, and that will give you yet another sound and another set of weird interactions. There are many, many combinations. If you really wanted to include all of them, your guitar would be just covered in knobs and switches. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a modification of this kind of wiring that I think is commonly used on Gretsch guitars. So in this particular variation, I'm going to only have one tone control, so I'm going to get rid of the tone controls here. And I'm going to hook up the volume control in what's sometimes called reverse wiring. Now, this isn't reverse in terms of polarity. It's reverse in terms of the way that we're going to be using the pot. So instead of hooking the wiper of the pot to the switches, what we're going to do is we're going to hook the top of the pot to the switches. And now we're going to take the output of the coils and we're going to hook those to the wipers. So that's a little strange. And then from there, we combine the outputs and we have our tone control. So I'm going to draw it in this new way of drawing it that I came up with earlier. So now I just have one tone control in this kind of setup. So I'll just write RT, and here's CT. And Gretsch's will also now have a master volume control. So let me call that RVM. And this M here stands for master, not middle. And this is wired up more as a standard volume control. Again, in the middle position, everything affects everything else. The network associated with one pickup is going to load down the other pickup. But now in this configuration, if we turn one of the controls all the way down, well, the other pickup is going to see this resistance, so it won't have this effect we have on the Les Paul where the volume just drops to 0. Notice in this lecture, I haven't written any equations as I have in the previous lectures, because all of these effects, when you combine them, just turn into horrendous piles of algebra if you actually work through all of the details. Now, if you're writing some kind of DSP simulation software to emulate different guitar pickup configurations, this is the sort of thing you would want to worry about. Here, I just wanted to give you a sense of some of the variations of wiring multiple pickups together. If you are not taking this class for credit at Georgia Tech, you can drop out here. But if you are taking this class for credit, I would like you to go to Canvas and click on the wiring quiz. And there's only one question, and I would like you to tell me, where are you from? And that's it.